Welcome to The Deep Dive,
Yes, welcome everyone.
the show where we really take a deep dive into the sources that you bring us.
That's right. You pick them, we deep dive them.
Exactly. And today we are diving into a relationship.
Oh, yeah?
A pretty significant relationship in the life of, well, one of the biggest icons.
I mean, arguably the biggest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Elvis Presley. We're talking Elvis and Linda Thompson today.
This is going to be good.
So the source that you brought to us is called The King and Miss Tennessee, an in-depth look at the relationship between Elvis Presley and Linda Thompson.
Quite a title.
Yeah. And Vrayman is a pretty in-depth look at their 4.5-year romance.
Wow. 4.5 years that's a chunk of time.
Yeah. It's not insignificant.
It's not just a fling.
No. So we are going to try to pinpoint the key moments of this relationship.
Yeah.
The significance of it, the dynamics.
The ups, the downs, the ins, the outs.
All of it.
All of it.
So that you can walk away from this having a really good understanding of this chapter in Elvis's life.
It's a good one.
All right. So Elvis, in the summer of 72,
Yes.
he is Elvis.
He is Elvis. Like, he is Elvis at this point.
He's had his comeback.
Huge comeback, yeah.
But he's also
Freshly separated.
from Priscilla.
Yes. Big life changes happening for Elvis.
And enter Linda Thompson.
Miss Tennessee Universe.
Yes. Newly crowned Miss Tennessee Universe. And it sounds like, she just had this...
It's that Southern charm.
Yeah, that Southern charm and grace.
Sincerity.
And our source suggests that really, really resonated with Elvis at this time in his life.
I bet.
So their first meeting, it's pretty cinematic.
It is, isn't it?
Like July 6th, 1972, late night movie screening
Okay.
at the Memphian Theater.
Naturally.
Elvis rented out the whole theater, of course.
Of course he did.
Who else? But Linda was there with her friend Jean LeMay.
Yeah.
They had been invited by Bill Browder,
Uh-huh.
who later became the country singer, T.G. Shepherd. So there you have it, country music connections.
Always.
But you know what's wild?
What?
Linda almost didn't go to this
Really?
because of a modeling commitment.
No kidding. That's
Who's that?
a sliding doors moment.
It really is.
Wow.
It really is. And then Elvis
Here comes Elvis.
enters the scene,
She.
shining his flashlight right on Linda.
Oh, stop.
And, those classic lines that you can just picture him saying.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Well, hello, honey. Where have you been all my life?
He said it like that, too.
Yeah. So theatrical, a little bit,
Yeah.
but impactful.
Oh, yeah.
So he's making his interest very, very known.
Yeah. No beating around the bush.
No.
No. Just straight in there.
Straight in. So they connect that night.
Like, right away.
Fast.
Wow.
Like, first of all, he immediately went and sat next to her.
Oh, yeah.
Pulled what the source calls the old yawn and stretch.
Ah, the old yawn and stretch.
Classic move. But Linda's a little hesitant at first.
Oh, I bet. I mean, right.
Because she thinks he's still married.
Yeah. Understandably so.
But he clarifies that they're separated.
Right.
And then they end up talking for hours and incredibly
Tell me.
making out that first night.
Oh, my goodness.
The source says they spent hours making out that first night.
Okay, so we're definitely getting that picture of this whirlwind, kind of. Like,
Yeah.
Elvis has got his eyes on you.
Yeah.
You're not getting away.
No, you are not getting away. And we talked about Elvis, like, having those intense pursuits.
Yeah.
But it seems like it wasn't just physical attraction. Like,
Yeah.
they found a lot of common ground.
So tell me about that. Like, what kind of common ground are we talking?
So, both from Memphis.
Oh, wow.
Similar religious beliefs, similar devotion to family. They both had a really good sense of humor.
Fun.
Yeah. And then there's this crazy detail
Okay.
that Linda's grandmother actually lived in Lauderdale Courts, which is the same housing project that a young Elvis lived in.
That's insane. Small world.
Isn't that wild?
Wow.
So that was kind of like their connection to their shared history.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And he wasted no time. The next night, invited her to Graceland
Oh, wow.
to meet his dad.
To meet Vernon.
Right.
Wow. Second date.
Yeah.
Second date at Graceland.
I know. And Linda brought Jean LeMay with her,
Okay.
which, maybe she needed like a buffer or something.
Probably a good idea.
But Elvis, he was on his best behavior,
Yeah.
perfect Southern gentleman.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
Linda went on a family vacation.
Right.
And Elvis, when she got back,
Yeah.
went to great lengths to track her down.
Oh, wow.
And that's kind of the beginning of their
They're whirlwind.
whirlwind.
Right.
The source says that they were practically inseparable for that entire first year.
That's pretty intense.
Yeah. And it also, it brings up another thing that the source talked about, Elvis's attraction to Linda's innocence.
Interesting.
The source specifically mentions her virginity.
Okay.
And it said that Elvis was very territorial.
I could see that.
Yeah. And this kind of made him feel wonderful.
That was something different,
Yeah. Especially because he lived this incredibly public life.
Yes. Very exposed.
Yeah. And, despite the intense attraction,
Yeah.
Elvis didn't pressure her.
Oh, really?
The source says that it was about 2 months before they became intimate.
Wow. So they really took time to build
Yeah. Which shows you that it was more than just
a fling.
Yeah.
So this whirlwind takes them straight to Graceland.
Yeah. So months after meeting,
Months.
Linda moves into Graceland.
That's fast.
Yeah, super fast.
Okay.
But she starts making it her own.
Okay.
She's designing
Oh, wow.
stained glass features.
Cool.
She puts in peacocks, climbing roses.
Oh, nice.
A pea insignia.
Oh, very nice.
Very Elvis. And then she's decorating other rooms. Kind of downstairs, the jungle room. So really kind of integrating her style
Lending it.
with his unique, style.
It's like she's becoming part of the inner circle, the inner sanctum of Graceland.
Yeah. And it's interesting. She later became really involved in the Elvis Week events.
Oh, wow.
So.
Because she's really embraced.
Yeah. And she said that she described their relationship as a complete relationship.
Oh, wow.
Like she called them soulmates.
Soulmates.
Kindred spirits.
Wow.
But she also said that she kind of played all these different roles.
Okay. What kind of roles?
Like little girl daddy.
Oh.
Mommy baby.
Wow.
Lovers, brother, sister, best friends.
That's a lot of hats to wear.
That's a lot.
Wow.
And it sounds like Elvis was the one who kind of dictated
Okay.
the dynamic.
So was it kind of like Elvis's needs first in the dynamic of the relationship?
It seems that way. Yeah. It sounds really all-encompassing.
And very much on his terms, it sounds like.
Yeah. Yeah. And we know that that Linda was very, very devoted to Elvis. Like she would go to hundreds of concerts.
Oh, my God.
She learned all of his routines.
Okay.
Like his nasal douches and vocal exercises.
Yeah.
So really committed to his happiness.
Absolutely.
But Elvis was known for his generosity.
Oh, right. Yes.
The source says that he enjoyed giving her gifts.
So it's like a give and take kind of relationship.
Yeah.
You take care of me, I shower you with gifts.
Yeah. And, it wasn't just like material things. Like Billy Stanley, who was around a lot, he noted that Elvis would always stand up when Linda entered the room.
Oh, wow. That's a sign of respect.
Yeah. Which is kind of amazing considering who Elvis was.
Right. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there is this underlying unequal dynamic.
Right.
Linda is providing the care, the stability, the devotion, and Elvis is providing the love, the excitement, the security, the experiences.
Yeah.
But her needs are very often secondary.
And he calls her mommy.
Yeah. Which,
I mean, it's kind of sweet, but it also kind of highlights that.
it's that caretaker role.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can see how over time that might lead someone to want something different.
Absolutely. To crave a little bit more balance.
And, we got to talk about this. Linda is now part of Elvis's world,
Okay, yeah.
which is its own little universe.
It really is.
The Memphis Mafia,
Oh, right.
Lisa Marie,
Yes.
Priscilla, Colonel Parker,
Yeah, the whole gang's here.
the whole gang's here. But first of all, Lisa Marie,
Yes.
who was only 4 when they met.
Oh, wow, so little.
Yeah, she formed a really close bond with Linda.
Really?
Really close.
That's sweet.
So much so that when Elvis died, her first phone call
Oh, wow.
was to Linda,
Wow.
which I think just shows the
impacts.
yeah.
The depth of the relationship there.
So there's the Memphis Mafia,
Right.
which, for those who don't know, this was like Elvis's inner circle.
His entourage.
Yeah. His entourage, his friends.
Keeping him company, looking after him.
Yeah. But Linda actually thought they really liked her.
Oh.
And she felt like she made their lives a little easier.
Oh. Because she was taking care of Elvis.
Yeah. And, she's not like the 14th guy who's got to keep Elvis entertained or whatever.
Right.
So, she's kind of like a breath of fresh air for the Memphis Mafia.
Right.
And even her brother, Sam Thompson,
Oh, yeah.
became one of Elvis's bodyguards.
Wow.
Which is kind of wild.
So they're really part of the inner circle.
Yeah.
The whole family.
And there's this anecdote about Elvis asking Sam
Yeah.
to stay on as his bodyguard,
Oh,
even after he and Linda had broken up,
wow.
which I think shows that he trusted.
The family.
Yeah.
That's big.
So then there's Priscilla,
Okay.
which the source says their relationship was, cool, cordial,
All right. So civil, but
not close.
not best friends.
But Priscilla did say later
Yeah.
that Linda was good for Elvis,
Oh, okay.
which I think is a pretty big statement.
Coming from her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Colonel Tom Parker, not a lot of interaction there,
Right.
mostly just on tour.
Yeah. He's off doing his own thing.
Yeah. And Linda did talk about feeling a lack of privacy in this world.
Right. Because you're constantly surrounded by people.
Yeah. And it's not just the people. It's like Graceland is their home,
Yeah.
but it's also this,
Public place.
yeah. And it's always like under observation, like
Yeah.
you're living on a stage almost.
Yeah.
And the source suggests that, this probably contributed to Linda eventually wanting,
A normal life.
yeah, to get away from all
To
that.
have her own space.
Yeah. But then we got to talk about the challenges in this relationship.
Yeah. I mean, it's not all roses, right?
And one of the big ones that the source talks about is Elvis's prescription drug abuse.
Right.
And it seems like Linda, she was naive at first.
And she's young.
Yeah. But then she started noticing the pills and the weird explanations.
It's evasiveness.
Yeah. And he would say, well, the doctor prescribed them.
Right, right.
But it really became a very damaging factor in their relationship.
So it became a central issue.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds like, this was a pretty significant problem
Yeah.
that wasn't really being addressed.
Yeah. And then there's the infidelity.
Right. I mean, we all know the stories, but
Linda was actually really open about this in the source material.
really? Okay.
Yeah. Like, she said that Elvis couldn't be monogamous, that it wasn't in his DNA,
No.
and that women were just so available to him.
Right. I mean, he's Elvis.
It was hard for him to resist. And Linda forgave him multiple times.
Oh, wow.
Because she loved him and she felt needed.
Of
But you can imagine that takes a toll.
course.
The source does mention a specific overlap with Mindy Miller
Andy Miller. Right.
in 1975. And Mindy Miller has confirmed this.
Oh, wow. So it's not just speculation. It's like...
No, it's confirmed.
Okay.
So infidelity was definitely a theme.
Right.
And, it's interesting. The source kind of says that it wasn't so much a reflection on Linda.
Okay.
It was more about who Elvis was and the opportunities he had.
Yeah. And we see this pattern repeat itself in, other relationships.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm wondering, like, by forgiving him, is she kind of enabling this behavior?
Yeah. I mean, it's possible, right?
Yeah. It's like, it's okay. I'll forgive you.
Yeah.
You don't have to,
It's a complicated situation for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay. So then we've got the addiction, we've got the infidelity.
Right.
And then we also have Elvis's health declining.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah.
This is all happening at the same time.
Yeah. And it's really noticeable.
Okay.
He gains a lot of weight after Aloha from Hawaii.
Right.
He starts going on these extreme diets. He's having all these health scares.
Like what kind of health scares?
He has a really serious case of pneumonia.
Wow. Okay.
The source also mentioned a lot of self-destructive behavior, which, it sounds like beyond the drug use, he was also struggling with temper issues and jealousy.
Wow. So a lot of inner turmoil going on.
Yeah.
And Linda's right there in the thick of it.
She is. And she basically becomes his caretaker,
Oh, man.
which she describes as being like, looking after a newborn baby.
Wow.
That's how she described it.
That is a full-time job.
And she, in the source material, she says that she saved his life multiple times.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, she's finding him passed out.
Oh, gosh.
She's clearing his airway when he's choking on food.
Oh, my goodness.
And she thinks she had to do that like 10 or 12 times.
Oh, my God.
So, you're saving someone's life.
Yeah.
But the issues are still there.
Right.
Right.
Like she's putting out fires.
Yeah.
But she's not really dealing with the root of the problem.
And, that brings up that thing, the enabling. Right?
Yeah. That fine line between caretaking and enabling.
Yeah. Where is that line?
And how do you find that balance?
And it's interesting because Linda's perspective on Elvis's infidelity was that, some of it was just his nature. Some of it was the circumstances.
Right.
And the source kind of suggests that she did that to cope.
So she doesn't see it as a personal attack.
Yeah.
She's compartmentalizing it almost.
Yeah. And you can imagine how difficult that must be.
Incredibly difficult.
Yeah. But eventually, it's just too much.
Right.
And in late 76, around Christmas time,
Okay.
she decides to end the relationship.
Wow. So after 4.5 years,
After 4.5 years.
it's over.
It's over. And it sounds like she initiated the conversation.
Right.
And she moves out of Graceland.
For good.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the source lists, those key reasons why.
Yeah, let's get into those reasons.
Well, first of all, she wanted a normal life.
Right. I can imagine.
Away from the public eye.
Yeah. To just be Linda.
Yeah, exactly. And, away from those crazy demands
Right.
of Elvis's world.
Elvis's world.
She was exhausted from all the caretaking.
Right. Years of it.
And, of course, the infidelity
Right.
that had been going on, was a major factor.
Yeah.
It's interesting, these are some of the same reasons
Yeah.
Priscilla cited
Oh, interesting.
for ending her marriage.
So it's a recurring theme.
Yeah. But the breakup itself, even though it was sad, was apparently pretty tender. They held each other. Elvis cried. He told her he loved her.
Of course.
But Linda stayed strong.
Yeah.
Stuck to her decision.
Good for her.
Yeah. And they agreed to try and stay friends.
Hmm.
And then Elvis went to his private quarters
Oh, no.
and played Unchained Melody on the piano.
Wow. Oh,
Okay.
yeah. That's pretty symbolic.
Yeah. And his Aunt Delta later told Linda what he had said.
Oh, what did he say?
He said, "You can't just forget someone you've spent almost every day with for 4.5 years."
Oh.
So, yeah.
So that song must have become like this reminder
Yeah.
for her of their time together.
It's interesting because he moved on pretty quickly.
Did he?
Yeah. Started dating Ginger Alden,
Right. Ginger Alden.
which, that relationship lasted until his death.
Wow.
Yeah. So looking back,
Yeah.
it does seem like the breakup was almost inevitable.
Right. With all this stuff going on.
Yeah, you've got the addiction, you've got the infidelity,
Yeah.
you've got Elvis not wanting to change, you've got his declining health, the pressures of his fame,
Yeah.
and then Linda wanting something totally different for her life.
Right.
So it really was kind of like a perfect storm.
It's like the relationship couldn't survive all of that.
Yeah. And she was doing what she needed to do for herself.
Right. To protect herself.
Yeah. But they did stay friends.
Really?
Yeah.
Even after the breakup?
Yeah. Yeah. In the months between the breakup and his death.
Okay.
And there's this crazy thing where Linda had a premonition.
Really?
Yeah. It was like this haunting feeling.
Wow.
And it prompted her to call Graceland
Oh, wow.
shortly before he died.
Okay.
And she talked to Charlie Hodge.
Right.
And she was like, Elvis, his breathing's been weird.
Okay.
But Charlie was like, no, everything's fine.
Right. Right.
But that was the last time
Wow.
she ever, had any contact.
So she never actually got to speak to him again.
And when she heard that he had died, it was Lisa Marie who called her
Oh, my God.
from
To
Graceland
tell her the news.
to tell her that Elvis had died.
Oh, wow.
And it's just, it just shows you how close.
Their bond was.
Yeah. And how much Lisa Marie
Trusted her.
trusted her.
Even though she wasn't with Elvis anymore.
Yeah. And Linda's first reaction was,
Oh, my God. Tell me.
"What would he want me to wear to the funeral?" Which I just think is so telling.
Yeah. It's like that caretaker role was just,
So ingrained.
yeah.
Ingrained.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we get most of Linda's perspective from her 2016 memoir, Little Thing Called Life.
Okay.
And she actually waited almost 40 years
Wow.
to tell her story
Hmm.
because she wanted to establish her own identity first.
Right. So she wasn't just Elvis's ex.
Exactly.
Mm.
And the book is about love and loss and forgiveness.
Yeah.
And it's been really well received.
Has a...
Yeah, it's very candid, very affectionate
Oh, good.
in its portrayal of Elvis.
That's nice to hear.
Yeah. And in her memoir and in a lot of interviews,
Right.
Linda really presents Elvis as a whole person.
Okay.
Like she acknowledges his flaws, his struggles, but she also highlights his good qualities.
Right.
She says that she loved him as a human soul.
Wow. That's powerful.
Yeah. And she talked about how intense their time together was,
Right.
that 1 year with him.
Yeah.
Felt like 10 or 12 in a normal life.
And that the beginning was magical.
Right.
But ultimately, it was a lot of heartache.
Yeah. Makes sense.
But it's interesting. She was really frustrated that she was left out of the 2022 Elvis biopic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
She felt like her role was erased.
Wow.
And a lot of fans agreed with her,
Yeah, I can imagine.
which really shows that she wanted to make sure her side of the story
Was heard.
was told.
Yeah. To kind of set the record straight.
Yeah. And she's been really careful to present this like nuanced story,
Hmm.
to be honest about the struggles, but to emphasize the love and the connection,
Yeah.
and to really show Elvis with empathy.
That's nice. It's a balanced perspective.
Yeah. And to really show how significant,
She was
yeah,
in his life.
in those last years.
Wow. Okay.
So we've reached the end of our deep dive.
Wow.
And wow, what a relationship.
It was intense.
Yeah. It's clear that this was a significant relationship in Elvis's life. You know, the beginning was intense. Life at Graceland was unique.
Yeah.
She was really his caretaker.
Yeah.
But even though they broke up, they stayed connected.
Right.
And Linda's perspective is invaluable.
Absolutely.
But, you know, I think this also gives us a look into Elvis's fame
Right.
and the challenges that came with that.
Right. And the dark side of fame.
And the impact of addiction,
Yes.
you know, not just on him.
On his relationships.
Yeah, on his relationships. And it's interesting, like some of the things that Linda brought up
Yeah.
are similar to what Priscilla said about why their marriage ended.
So this is a pattern.
So maybe there are some patterns in Elvis's relationships.
It makes you wonder.
It does. So to you, our listener, what are your takeaways from this?
Yeah. What do you think?
You know, what do you think about the challenges of loving and caring for someone? Expert.